All right, welcome back to Five on the Floor. I'm Ethan Skolnick here with Brady Hawk and Alex Lito, and with a guy who I know has become inspirational to a lot of Heat fans, Dru Smith, back after another traumatic injury. We were just asking you about this over when you were talking to the media in general, and I just can't imagine sort of what it was like. Yeah. And I know you acknowledged that you had a moment where you're kind of like, why me? And then you're like, I can't do that. And you leaned on your faith and your family. But you were playing really well last year. Like, I think you exceeded expectations that pretty much anybody but inside the organization had for you. And then it happens. Can you go back to that night? I know you probably don't want to, but that night, what was that like for you?
Yeah, man. I went down. Obviously, I thought somebody tripped me. So, I'm looking behind me. And once I saw that they were going the other way and there was no one there, I was like, oh, man. And so, just kind of looked at the guys that were out there with me. I was like, hey, man, just get me off the court. Like, it's not good. And so got off the floor. My wife actually came down out of the stands and went back to the locker room. And we just kind of sat there with everybody. Obviously Andy came back there. Everybody came back there at halftime. And we already knew what had happened. So, it was tough. A lot of tears, a lot of just frustration, anger at the time. And so, we just kind of went home. Actually, Duncan came over after the game that night, and we just talked to him and his fiance now. And, just trying to process it all. It took a little bit of time. And then, like my agents always say, you get 24 hours basically. And after that, we got to figure out what's next. So, that's kind of what we did.
Did you think it was over here at that point? Because I know the ACL, that was a crazy situation with the court in Cleveland. Never should be like that. It's awful the way they have that set up.
Yeah, I think it's still like that.
It is. They're never going to change it. It's just like turf for the NFL. Never going to change it. But then this wasn't because of court or anything like that. This is just something that happens. There's nothing, there's nothing you can change about that. But, I mean, 2 injuries like that, and even an organization that had faith in you and a coach that had faith in you, you had to be thinking, like, is that the last time on the court for this team?
Yeah, I think, that's probably one of the first things that went through my head is, like, what's next? Where do we go from here? Because, at the same time, it's also, like, our livelihood, So, definitely was a thought 100%. And so, like I said over there, just for them to, to treat me the way that they have, to believe in me, to continue to believe in me even through all of this, I think it just gives me even more motivation to, try to prove them right.
And and you mentioned Duncan come over. Obviously, I'm sure Spo had words, Andy had words, everybody had words.
Yeah.
Was there one thing that was said to you by one person, though, in this organization that really jumped out to you at that time, that you took with you?
Oh, man, that's tough. I feel like, I talked to everybody. My bad. Rathy's trying to kick me out of here. He must need to come over here. No, I honestly, I can't remember one specific thing. But it was just all the staff, all the players, everybody just kind of pouring into me, and reassuring me that it's not the end. It doesn't have to be the end. I think that's just kind of what kept me going, especially early on. Those first 2 weeks after surgery, you're not even allowed to sweat. Like, I'm in a cast and just stuck on the couch. So that, just everybody, it wasn't just one thing, but, everybody reaching out to me, that kind of just kept me going early on.
Can we just get a behind the scenes of maybe what your off season looks like? There's the part of it that's rehab. There's part of it that's the on-court stuff. Like, what is that balance for you in the off season of prioritizing one or the other?
Yeah, I think early on it was a lot of rehab, especially, I guess technically my off season kind of started after the injury. So, like, early on it's just strictly rehab. Like, there was probably a month or 2 where I couldn't even come up the stairs, really, so I didn't even come up here. I'd still be in the building rehabbing, usually during practice and things like that. But early on, that's really all it was. And then eventually I was able to start getting on the floor, and it's just really slow. That's really all I can say about it. It feels unbelievably slow, and you feel like you're out here doing drills that you did when you're, 6 years old and just picking up the ball. Like, I can shoot and not jump or dribble in one spot. And so, it's almost more frustrating to get on the court initially, because it's like you kind of just feel silly. Like, what am I really getting anything out of this? But at the same time, it's you're excited to just even have a ball in your hand. So it's weird. It's tough initially. But over the last couple months, it's felt much more like normal basketball. I've been able to be out here, working out hard, getting good sweats in, getting into some live action. So it's been good.
I'm going to go to Alex in a second, but the one question that is going to get asked when you're on the court, I think, is obviously you're known as a defender first. You made a ton of shots last year as well, but it starts with your defense. They've added Davion since you went out, so there's a potential to have a really interesting defensive group that's put out there. But there's always going to be the question coming back from Achilles about things like lateral quickness, stuff like that. Where do you see that getting to? Do you think you can get back to where you were?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I haven't seen or felt anything with myself that makes me think that I won't be able to, get back to who I am, or even that I'm not, at times moving that well right now. You know what I mean? I think we actually have a lot of different, monitoring systems and things like that, and it's not like, my speeds or jumping or any, my numbers are off in any way. So I think, I think it's really just getting that confidence, being back out there, just getting back used to playing. That's really the hardest part, I would say, just feeling comfortable back in 5-on-5.
So you're known for your defensive prowess, but as he alluded to, the offensive game was really, I think the season before, it was a similar thing as well, where it was trending in the right direction. You were making shots, and I think last year you really started to attack the paint a lot as well and make plays out of that on top of hitting the shots, on top of the defense.
Yeah.
Is that the type of stuff that you're looking to build off of on the offensive side of the floor, or do you have a different mindset for it?
No, for sure. I think, just continue to try to build off of that. And, I think when I'm out there, it's really just trying to take what comes to me. I'm never on offense trying to force anything or, feel like I need to get a shot up at certain times. If I have to go the full game, take 2 shots, that's what it is. But also being in the position that I'm in, it's, I'm going to get some open looks, especially when you're out there with a guy like Bam, Tyler, Wiggs, Norm now. You're going to get open looks. So you have to be able to knock those down, and then everything else kind of comes from that.
And as you look at the composition of the team, you mentioned Wiggins. You haven't played with a lot of these guys,
no.
right? I mean, that's different. You went out, and then the trade was made. There was a little chaos here last year. You might have heard about it.
Something was going on.
Something was going on, and then that gets resolved. But again, you're hurt. The team is in a different position now. The average age we're projecting the rotation is 26 years old, which is kind of right around where you fit. How do you see this team as different from the one that when you left the floor that night?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, I think we're a little younger. Yeah. I think we have a few more guys, that still feel like they have something to prove, which I think can put us in a really good spot. Having a lot of guys out there that are, hungry, want to win games, want to, prove what they're able to do, which in turn, should turn into proving what we can do as a team. So I think we're in a good spot.
I wanted to get your thoughts on Davion, because he kind of stepped in as somebody that was playing your type of role last season, and it just seems like you two could play together, obviously, at certain points too. Just what have you thought about his defense, his impact, and how you guys maybe be able to impact the rotation together?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has an unbelievable impact defensively and on the offensive end. I think he's very skilled on that end and probably gets overlooked a little bit sometimes. But, yeah, I think, like you said, I think there's some lineups that we could put out there that could be really real problems defensively. Obviously, love what he does on that end of the floor. And if I wish I could move my feet like that. I got to do it a little differently, but no, I think there's definitely there's going to be times where we're probably out there together, and I think it causes some issues for some teams.
I was going to say he's known for blowing up screens, basically. He just does not let himself get screened. You have some of that also, but you do guard in a different way than him. Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's a little bit more physical than I am. I think also he's kind of got that reputation much more than I do, so he gets away with a little bit more. Which that's just how it goes. If that's how you play, then eventually they can't call it all the time.
But how can that? Because I would assume you're going to work against each other a little at camp too, provided that you get up to speed. I mean, there's this whole iron sharpens iron kind of thing. Sure. I mean, so are you getting tricks from each other a little bit? I would think.
I'm sure a little bit. Pick up some things from each other, like you said. I think we guard a little bit differently. I'm not as physical, a little bit more positional, I would say, than he is. But, yeah, I mean, it's not something that you look forward to, knowing he's going to pick you up 94 feet. It's probably, get off of it and not even – I'm not going to try to prove myself. Fighting him up the court, he'll probably take it from me a couple times. So, no, I think, like you said, iron always sharpens iron, and so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Let's close with this. When you get back on the court in a game, not if, but at this stage, I think everybody believes it's when.
Yeah.
what is that going to feel like? Will you give yourself a second to reflect on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think just more gratitude than anything. I think that's one thing that comes from, sitting out and being out is like you just appreciate the fact that you're even out there and able to play basketball. The rest of it will be what it is. You've done all the work, you've done all the preparation, and so you just, it's just basketball at the end of the day, but you just have a different level of gratitude whenever you step out there on the floor just to be able to play.
All right, Dru, we appreciate it. It's great to have you back again, and we're looking forward to seeing you out there.
For sure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely.